It is a brisk, chilly morning. Hasn't rained too much. I got up here a little while ago. It was kind of sprinkling, but a little bit of sunshine coming out. I guess it's over here. It's starting to peek through the clouds, but it was gorgeous up here the last 2 days. But of course I wasn't here. I just saw it on camera. But up here today, dropping some stuff off. We haven't actually been up here for a few weeks as we've had all kinds of stuff going on. You know how life goes, all the other things that have to happen. So we didn't get up here to do much work in the last few weeks. But now that I'm up here for today, I'm going to run down here and I'm going to check the game cameras and pull all the cards because we should have a few weeks of footage. So it might be great to see what we got on all those. A bunch of the grass we planted back over here last time we were up here. I don't think I showed video of that, but we just spread random northwest grass seed all over that dirt area, and as you can see, it's all coming in great. Pretty sweet. Previously I showed where we're going to build the first cabin, and we needed to level the landing because this upper landing was just, you know, big rock roughed in. It's perfect for what we're doing now, but didn't want to directly build on it yet. So we had our excavators come up and they actually leveled this area. They're using I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up again, or maybe somebody out there knows. But basically it's an upcycled pavement. So they put down a finer rock on top of the big rock, and then they take this crushed up pavement that's, you know, basically crushed to the size of finished rock, and they compact that out. And man, it looks amazing. It's really level now. Didn't realize how unlevel this part of the landing was until they leveled this, because they had to put a lot in. I'll show you here in a second. But as I've shown previously, this is where they still have to level this. They're coming back up. The machines are still here. It's just been raining a bunch, so they hadn't gotten back up here because this will be sloppy muddy when they do it. But this area here is where we're having the fire pit cover put in, and that's going to be all leveled. But starting right about here is where you can see this large rock down here. That's where the old landing was. You can see how much rock they actually put in and leveled this out, and it just looks great. I'm super excited. This opens up the door to get started on the cabin build here in the next month or two. Price of lumber has gone down a bunch. It's supposedly going to go down a couple more over the next couple of weeks, a little bit more. So I talked to my contractor buddy, and he suggested that we at least buy the lumber pack. So we're putting together what the lumber pack will look like. We can have that dropped off. We'll tarp it, and it'll be fine up here until we start building. So yeah, you can see the big rock here from the old landing, and then all this new yummy rock up here. But this will give you a good comparison of how high it is. So up to about, I don't know, belt height on me, so quite a bit of it. Also, we can tell the elk have been up here. They don't usually hang out on this landing, and I think that's because we were here every weekend all the time. But we do have a game camera up here, trail camera on the landing we've had up here for about a month, and it has caught one elk up here munching on some goodies over where we planted all the grass. That was prior to the grass being planted, but right now there is a ton of elk track up here. You can see right here where they've walked up this trail. There's some tracks, and they've come all the way over here and walked up right here. Some deer track as well, but it's interesting to see the elk back up here. I like that. One last angle. So I'm on the north side of the landing here where the hill drops off down to the creek down there, and looking back towards where the storage container is and the bathhouse and stuff. And you'll be able to see here, like, you can see the really large rock. That was the height of the original landing, and you can see the new finished rock on top, which is the height of the leveled landing. So you can see how much difference there was in leveling. One of the machines is still up here. They left it up here because they're not done, and it's a skid steer. It's a Bobcat. It's awesome. I wish so bad it was mine, and maybe they'll leave it here forever and I can just have it. I'll have to ask him. Maybe he'll do that for me. Right. Anyways, this unit was used to put all that rock in and then level it out. They also have this cool big roller on the front of it. This thing's awesome. I'd love to have one of these too. The bucket they have for this thing is gigantic. It's probably, I don't know, I guess it's probably an 8 foot at least. Really perfect for up here on this size of property. So the other thing I did last time I was up here when I was working on the solar stuff, there's 2 videos out there, the part 1 and part 2 of the first start of the solar install, where I go through all the equipment we bought. So hopefully you've checked those out. One of the things I did that weekend was I mounted a pole to mount the Starlink satellite dish on, affectionately known as Dishy, if you've not heard in previous videos where I've talked about it. However, we have temporarily mounted Dishy onto a wood platform I built out of scrap lumber and a pallet, and it's working great. So it just sits there and it can be moved around. The cabling runs into the cargo trailer where we have a little bit of solar that powers it, so we have internet up here. and I can get to stuff remotely like cameras. Last time I was up here though, I did mount the permanent home for the Dishy Dish, which is this pole I bought from Starlink. I have a bunch of footage of that. I will put a video together. I wasn't going to put that together until I actually moved the dish, because it would make more sense as a complete project. So I won't move the dish till the power's done. So pretty soon here we will move that dish over, mount it onto this pole. This pole is concreted into the ground, and then we'll run a cable from here into the storage container where all of the network gear, like the wireless and all that, will move to, and we'll pull it out of the cargo trailer permanently. Anyway, I'm going to run down, get the game cameras, swap the cards in them, come back up here, and then hopefully I'll have some great video from that to share. Rather than getting out the four-wheeler, which is stored in the storage container right now, I don't want to get the ramps out and stuff. I'm just going to walk down the road here and then head down the hill and grab the game cameras. There's 5 of them now. Here's the trail we cleared earlier this summer. Weather got kind of crappy and we haven't been back to this project, but right now I'm just going to walk down that trail all the way to the lower landing, grab that camera, and then probably down to the creek and grab that one real quick. In the summer you can't even see through here because it's all the alders are grown in, all the leaves are grown in, so it's just like a tunnel. But you can see in the winter when all the leaves drop how opened up it gets. Lots of elk and deer sign here, a lot of tracks. We leased land to a couple people for hunting this year, just for one weekend, and they didn't have any luck, but they saw lots of sign. The elk here tend to go in patterns. They come around every 5 to 7 days and hang out for a while, so the timing just didn't work out for them, unfortunately, but I guess hooray for the elk. They survived a season, at least on our land. From this point, about halfway down the trail, you can see the lower landing that I'll be on in a minute, which is right there, that whole area. And you can see the upper landing right up there where the truck and the storage container and all that goodness is, just for reference. It's fascinating too because the elk and the deer both absolutely follow the trail we built. Like, you can tell they are definitely opportunistic and, I guess for lack of a better word, lazy like me, in that why tromp through the crap when you can walk down the nice trail? But you can see, with rare exception, where we've cleared the trail, that's where they walk. The bear comes up through here too. I don't see any bear sign today so far, but we have seen them come up through this same trail. I don't think I've shot much video, maybe if any, down here. This is the lower landing. Our property had a railroad spur that came up through it in the late 1800s, early 1900s, where the loggers had a rail line that ran up in here, and they actually built the 2 landings we have, which have since been reused by logging companies in the last 100 years a couple times. They built these 2 landings and the railway came up here. What we're clearing as a road down to the creek over time is actually the original cutout where that railroad spur is. So that should be pretty interesting when we start digging in there to see if we find any old railway ties or maybe some spikes. That'd be neat. So this lower landing here has been here for a long time, and it's been cut and replanted at least once or twice, maybe only once twice in the 80s, and then I think again about 8 years ago. So it does get reused. They don't bring machines to this landing. They can do it all with the new machines from the upper one. It's a really nice area. This is where all the elk hang out. When you see all those great trail cam footage of elk that aren't at the creek, they're probably on this landing. This landing though, we need to clear some trees off of it before they grow up, because this is probably where we'll want to build eventually. But this is a great spot. It's about halfway down into the property. The wind isn't high here. You can hear and see the creek from the edge of it, so pretty great place. But I keep a game camera here, obviously, so I'm gonna go check that one right now. The magic. Okay, I did mention I hadn't seen any bear sign, and I'm getting ready to head down to the creek, and here's some relatively, not today, maybe yesterday, fresh bear goodness. Man, it is dumping out here. That's all right though. Not gonna stop us. There's our little pink marker, meaning turn here for creek trail. There's the landing. Now there is some good bear shit. Obviously following our trail. There's a lot of it. He was probably here the last 24 hours, I would guess. Hopefully we don't run into him. I'm being pretty loud, so we'll see. Hey, bear! Well, he is, yeah, like I said, he is definitely traversing this trail. There's a lot of bear sign on here. We knew he was, or she, I should say, whichever one. We knew it was using the trail like the elk and deer do, but I've not seen this much bear sign for a long time, so obviously a lot more recently. One of the great things about owning 45 acres of forest is, especially when you got young trees, is we can get our own Christmas tree. We always do a live tree every year, a real tree, not into the fake tree thing. We'll just drive up here. We got thousands of trees to pick from. Hemlock, spruce, Doug firs. Look for a good tree and cut it down and take it home for Christmas this year, which is, I don't know, pretty damn cool to be able to pull it off your own lot. So I will definitely shoot some video of that if we get up here then and share that with you as well. This is a vine maple, which grows all over this place. It's pretty neat. Like, it's got really long spindly branches. Seems to die off at the base. I mean, it doesn't really die, but it gets all like dead looking and it breaks easily, but it's still live out on the ends. It's a pretty interesting plant. Anyways, I'm right here where we put in our rope for getting down to the hill to the creek. And right above that, there's this interesting, like, this is an old cut stump from probably 100 years ago, like an old growth that was cut at some point. And it's still here, but you can see this vine maple, like, grown here, and like, it's super cool looking at all the branches that come down on this side, like supports itself down on the ground. It's pretty neat. Wow, the water is really high, much more so than when I was down here with the salmon spawning. Let's get a little closer here and we'll get some video of it. Yeah, so this area right here is, you know, in previous videos you'll see it is all, normally there's no water anywhere here, and we walk out here and that little area there where the trees have fallen, that's, I had a camera mounted there for a while that was looking across the creek. The area we cross, previous videos you'll see was a bunch of trees over here that had fallen, and that was an area that was perfect to cross, but if you look at it now you can't cross there at all, even if the water was down, because it's all that stuff washed away. It's just gone. So water is definitely high this year. And actually, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a dead salmon on the bank over there, laying up on its side. And actually down here, it smells like salmon, like dead fish. It's kind of gross. So there's probably a number of them. Oh, and here they are. Interesting. Now I know why it smells. Check this out. That's all dead salmon pushed up against the bank there, or against these branches and stuff. They're everywhere. Oh yeah, look at this big boy here. That's why it smells so bad down here. All the salmon from the salmon spawn that died off after they spawned, carcasses are still around and washed up on the banks. My guess is the animals and critters get them over time. Wow, I'm gonna go up here and see if my camera's even still here. The banks are so high it might have washed away. That would be unfortunate. Good Lord, there is salmon everywhere. So they are still spawning. Huh. Okay, so this will be tricky. So normally right here is all bank. We walk out here. We cross. There's, you know, what is partially maybe a beaver dam or something, but that's usually really slow moving water there. And we cross right here, and that tree branch there we used to sit on and put our feet in the water, but you can see how much higher it is. Now this bank, there's the camera right there, and normally I just walk right up to it and I can change it out, but it's actually hanging over the water now. So I'm gonna have to go around the other side and see if I can get the card out of it. Hopefully got some good video. This is one of the new ones. This is the first time I will have looked at it. I'm gonna move it though, because it's kind of, that log is a little loose, so I'd hate to have it wash into the creek. I'm guessing the water is not at its maximum height, so. Well, this probably explains a lot of the bear sign I've seen going up and down our trail, because if there's all these tasty salmon sitting down here, you know they're down here all the time eating them, so hopefully I made enough noise and at least I'm armed. All right, I'm soaking wet. Hopefully I don't stink like salmon. I'm gonna head back up the trail here and change into some dry clothes, and we'll see what's next. Can't tell I am completely drenched. Not cold though, so it's good. I'm gonna go put on some dry stuff. Turn on some lights. You can see on super duper crappy days like this one, out of the 600 watts in solar panels that are out there, although 2 of them right now aren't aimed ideally, so we'll just say 400, even at the 400. You can see that we're getting 5.1 watts and only charging about 0.47 amps. Crazy. Welcome to the Northwest and solar fun. Let's get all this wet shit off and put on some good dry stuff. First I'm turning on the heat.